All right, so this was the video I wanted to do earlier this week, and then stuff kind of fell apart. Um, to do this because other topics came up that were more important. So I'm going to do this well aware that I don't normally get a lot of views on this, and that my viewpoint may not be the popular one. I remember when the NHL first started going to the Olympic Games. That was in '98, Nagano, I believe. And Wayne Gretzky famously sat on the bench during a shootout. I believe it was Ray Bourque that took a shot instead of him in the shootout, which baffled everybody, including me. And I'm a huge Ray Bourque fan, but it was like, Gretzky's the greatest player of all time. You give him a chance in the shootout to win the game. So after that, of course, the NHL went to the Olympics in 2002 with the idea of being one of revenge, and they got it. Canada got revenge. And I was working at a call center at the time, and everything got all fun at that point. Um, and from then until now, the experience we've had with Olympic hockey has been mostly positive. Now, the fact that they're being held in South Korea, a little bit problematic because you're looking at TV time. You're looking at wanting to have games in prime time. You're not getting those if they're in the Far East. Okay. You're looking at games being played, they're 18 hours ahead of us or whatever it is. And so you're looking at games being played in a non-primetime slot. So that's the first problem the NHL is going to have. The second problem the NHL is going to have is the fact that you're taking players who are NHL stars, putting their health at risk on the ice in Korea. Guys get hurt, things happen, and you don't want to see a team miss the playoffs because of an Olympic injury. And third factor, you have to shut the NHL down for 2.5 weeks. Now, according to Gary Bettman, well, all the players are going to vote for that because it gives them time off. Okay, if they're stupid, Mr. Bettman, that's not why players would vote for it. Players vote for it because they want to represent their country, and even ones who don't have a chance to get there. And I'm talking about a guy like like Cody Franzen, just as an example. He's decent defenseman. He's not going to get called up to play for his country. He knows that, but he's going to vote in favor of it because he wants to give a PK Subban a chance to go over and play for his country if they call him this time, and they really should. The fact is that players believe in this Olympic experience. You've now got guys going back to '98. So every player in the NHL is used to going to the Olympics. As soon as they went the first time, they kind of have to go now. I agree with them not going, although I hated the World Cup for the most part. I thought the World Cup was too gimmicky because Team North America and Team Europe happened and they shouldn't have. And I really thought that took away from the rest of the tournament because if the best players in Canada should be representing Canada, you shouldn't be taking some of those players and putting them into Team North America. And same for the States. The States, everybody crapped all over the American team, and I was thinking, well, yeah, some of their best players are in Team North America. If you want Team USA to be good, get rid of Team North America and take those American players and throw them on the American team and watch how much better they get with a Jack Eichel in the lineup. Well, what do I know? I'm just some commentator on YouTube. I don't have any ideas, right? I did notice, though, tonight on Hockey Night in Canada that both Nick Kyprios and Kelly Rudy agreed with my point that slashes like the one delivered on Mark Mathot aren't against the rules but should be, and that Ristolainen's hit shouldn't be worthy of a suspension. It should be worthy of a penalty. So I thought that was funny because I was argued with during the week by certain people who said, "Oh, I was wrong on both counts," um, which is funny because I never argued Crosby should get suspended based on the rules. Just that the rules are wrong if that's not suspendable for hacking off the tip of a guy's finger. Anyways, I digress. The entire Olympic argument, which would include Crosby, um, you've got a 5-day break for every team that's already in the agreement for next year. So now, if you're the schedule maker, you've already got a schedule in. 31 teams get a 5-day break. They're not all breaking at the same time. They should. They should have the East take a break of 5 days, the West take a break of 5 days. That way, nobody comes out with a ton of games in hand, and it makes more sense. But now you got to put in a 16-day break on top of that. So now you got 21 dead days in a season for any given team. That's a month. And you've got to try to take all the games and squeeze them into the other 5 months of the season. Now, you can take the regular season and start it early. You can start it on October 1st. You can start it on September 28th, September 27th. You can push that back. You can take the regular season and extend it beyond the April closing date that it's at now. But do you really want to? Do you really want to risk Game 7 of the Stanley Cup being in July? No. So you can add those to the start of the season, and then you get all these extra days in between where there's just nothing going on for the NHL. The NHL doesn't make money off the Olympic experience. This is about players wanting to represent their countries and wanting to put on their national jerseys and feel some national pride. And I understand, totally understand players wanting to do that. But I also understand the NHL's point here. I really do, and I hate to because I'm no more of a Gary Bettman fan than you or any of your buddies or anybody's buddy on top of that. But they don't want to go. They don't want to deal with the hassle of having to add those extra days to the schedule. And the only way they're even going to think about it is if the players say, we're not going to go out and opt out of the contract in 2019. The collective bargaining agreement has an opt-out clause for the players in 2 years. And the NHL is saying, okay, we'll go to Korea. We'll discuss the next Olympics. But you guys have to tell us you're not going to walk out. And the players are going, well, we can't do that. We have to stay in this, which is weird to me because under the current contract, everything seems to be going well if you're a player. You're getting paid. The escrow seems to be a major sticking point. And I can kind of get where players are coming from with the escrow. But the fact is, they're all getting paid more now than they were when the agreement was signed. They're getting paid way more now than they were when the salary cap came into effect over a decade ago. So to me, they should want to keep this system going, and they should be willing to say, okay, we'll keep the system for an extra 3 years, give you labor peace, and we'll go to the Olympics. Because honestly, leagues really, really make way more money when labor peace is achieved. Look at baseball. Baseball was dead about 20 years ago because there were strikes all the time. And there was a perception that players were just in it for the money, the owners were just in it for the money, and screw them. And attendance dove. And it took a long time for baseball to get it back. And football went through something like that too. It wasn't as strong because football is so beloved in the States, but still there was backlash. And these replacement players, which was a bad idea. USA Hockey should listen to that. Because if they're thinking about sending replacement players for the women's team, they're in for a nasty surprise because that never works out well for anybody. For in terms of Olympic participation for the players, to say we'll give you labor peace should be a no-brainer. Because labor peace equals a more healthy league, which equals more revenues, which equals a higher salary cap. Vegas is coming in. The salary cap's going up. Vegas will add revenues. That first year, Vegas is going to sell a lot of merchandise. Everybody's going to be buying Vegas jerseys, which is part of the reason why I probably won't next year, because everybody's going to be buying one. And I'm not just jumping on a bandwagon here. I'm going to wait till something goes on sale or, to see going into year 2 if they're going to make a change. So until I see something on sale, no, I'm not considering Vegas to be a viable option at this point. Unless they have an absolutely fantastic, beautiful jersey I can't do without. So revenues will go up. The salary cap will go up. There's supposed to be a partnership. There's supposed to be a partnership between the players and the owners. And they put out publicly this idea of it with the safety and with different councils and groups they have going. And then something simple. A layup. Like the owners say, okay, we'll let you guys go to the Olympics. We'll schedule this in, and it's a real hassle for us to figure this out because you've got this 5-day break, and I got the Olympic break, and this could just be an absolute nightmare. Or we're not going to let you go. So the difference is, if we let you guys go, can we have 3 years on that contract honored and not have to worry about the 2019 opt-out? Players are going, no. No. Like it's a non-starter. And the weird part to me is that the players have lost virtually every argument they've had with the owners, and they're not learning. Players are millionaires. Owners, for the most part, are billionaires. Who's going to win the argument? Who really needs the money more? For owners, they make money off their sports teams for the most part. Some of them don't. Some of them actually will make more money as owners by not having any games played at all. The franchise loses value. Sure. But as soon as that agreement's signed by the players, that value goes right back up. No harm, no foul. That's why the NHL locks the players out. They don't have a chance to go out on strike 9 times out of 10. I think they've all been lockouts. I don't think there's one that's been an actual strike. The owners are ready to pull that trigger because billionaires have more money than millionaires. That's just math. And they're going to win this fight. The only way players are going to the Korean Olympic Games is if they say, all right, we accept this. They have to. There's no option. And with the players acting like, oh, the owners are just being owners and this is terrible, they don't have me snowed at all. All they have to say is, we're not going on strike in 2019, and they go to the Olympics. That's it. We want to fight for our country. Then do it. Because, for ownership, and it said too, there was an article on Hockey News, and I agreed with something. I think it was Ken Campbell that said it. I was surprised I agreed with him. He said, if this was such a major point for NHL players, if sending players to the Olympics was such a massive thing for them, why didn't they fight for it in the last collective bargaining agreement? Why isn't it in this collective bargaining agreement? Did they just assume they'd go to every Olympic game so they didn't bother? Well, then it's not that important. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. But to me, I sort of agree with that sentiment. If it was so important to have Olympic involvement, it would have been in this collective bargaining agreement right up until the end of this CBA, and it wasn't in there. The 2018 Olympics aren't mentioned. The 2022 Olympics aren't mentioned. It's just not there. So let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. But thank you very much for watching.